I bet you didn't know how wild this week in the markets was. Well, folks, hold on to your monocles because this week in the markets was a wild ride. We had trade deals popping off like confetti at a banker's bonus party. The Federal Reserve did its best impression of a suspense novel writer, leaving us hanging on whether or not they'll cut interest rates. And let's not forget the always entertaining dance of stock prices. Some soaring, some plummeting, and some doing the market equivalent of the Macarena. In short, it was a week that would make even the most seasoned investor say, "What in the Wall Street is going on?" Don't forget to subscribe and share for more updates. First up, we have the U.S. and the U.K. finally burying the Brexit hatchet and shaking hands on a trade deal. This isn't your grandma's trade deal, though. This one involves tariffs on UK imports with 10% on most goods and a hefty 25% on vehicles over 100,000 units. Ouch! But wait, there's more. The US, in a gesture of transatlantic camaraderie, dropped tariffs on UK steel and aluminum. It's like a game of trade deal twister, except nobody's quite sure who's winning yet. Meanwhile, across the pond, the Federal Reserve decided to channel their inner drama queen and leave interest rates untouched, holding steady at 4.25 to 4.5%. The markets let out a collective sigh of relief, having already factored in the news of a potential rate cut. But hold your horses, because the Fed also hinted at potential rate cuts later this year, maybe even 3. It's like they're dangling a carrot in front of a very impatient rabbit, that rabbit being the market, in case that wasn't clear. But wait, there's more rate-cutting action happening north of the border. Our friends in Canada have been slashing rates like a Black Friday shopper trying to get the last discounted TV. They've already brought rates down to 2.75% and are aiming for a target range of 2.5 to 3.0%. It's enough to make even the most frugal Canadian consider taking out a loan. Just kidding, Canadians would never. And in other news, former President Trump decided to grace us with his presence this week by canceling a Biden-era restriction on AI chips. The market, always a fan of deregulation, responded with a collective cheer. It's almost like Trump knew exactly what buttons to push to get the market excited. Or maybe it's just a coincidence. Who knows with that guy? Now let's talk numbers, because what's a market review without a healthy dose of confusing financial jargon? The TSX, that's the Toronto Stock Exchange for you non-Canadians, finished strong at 25,358, up 1.3% for the week. The S&P 500, on the other hand, took a bit of a dip, ending at 4,200 for a 0.5% loss. The Dow Jones followed suit, shedding 1.2% to close at 34,500. And let's not forget the tech-heavy Nasdaq, which managed to eke out a 0.8% gain to finish at 13,600. Speaking of tech, Tesla continued its electric surge, with its stock price climbing higher than a SpaceX rocket. Palantir, the data analytics company that's like the Google of knowing things you didn't even know you needed to know, also saw gains. And then there's Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency that's like the moody teenager of the financial world. It had a roller coaster of a week, with some reports claiming it surged past $100,000 while others say it plummeted to $35,000. Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin decided to run off and join the circus. Now let's talk about the two things that keep economists up at night: jobs and inflation. The U.S. economy added a respectable 250,000 jobs in April, which is great news, but still fell short of expectations. Meanwhile, inflation, as measured by the CPI, ticked up by 0.4% last month. It seems like we're stuck in this weird economic limbo where things are good but not great, and nobody knows what's going to happen next. So, what does this all mean for next week? Well, if this week was any indication, we're in for another wild ride. Keep an eye out for key economic reports like housing starts in Canada and U.S CPI inflation data. And whatever you do, don't panic. Unless, of course, Bitcoin actually does run off and join the circus. Then you can panic. Please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.